So just be very, very aware of that. So you are going to script, because this is the only way. If you get this right, you will always be 1 to 2 minutes, 3 minutes at the max, either side of your delivery time. And that makes you someone that people want to engage. Ever been in a room where the speaker goes well over time, or worse still, ever been the organizer of an event and a speaker on the program goes well under time and you're left scrambling to fill dead air and dead space? Well, as a speaker, for whatever purpose you've come to this journey with us, as a speaker, there is a way that you can guarantee being on time every time. I'm going to run you through it. It's super, super fast. This is our quickest episode that we're probably ever going to do. What you need to do is you need to script. Now, I'm going to go into a lot of the things that we do with scripting later in this series, but just take my word for it. You're going to need to script your speech. I don't care if you run it off the cuff. This is going to make sure that you always run on time, to time, and get everything in that you are meant to say. Because there's nothing worse than speaking up or speaking at something and walking away going, I didn't get everything in. I meant to say this, I meant to say that. And that's not just for speaking, by the way. I'm sure we've all had those mental moments where it's like, I should have said this and I can't believe I left that out. So we do script. But one of the reasons why we script is because we want to actually become the darlings of the people who pay us, whether it's by giving us a space or by giving us actual money, but the organizers of the events, the stages, and the platforms that we're going to speak on and speak at, including our own. So the way to do this is you script and you actually count your words. Right? Now, script writers and playwrights have known this literally for centuries. We are just getting across it as speakers, which I think is ludicrous. And why we are scripting is because your amount of minutes will tell you how many words you have. So, for example, I do pitch coaching for startup and scale-up incubators and pitch competitions. They usually have 3 or 4 minutes to get their pitch right. Now, when we sit down with people and we say, okay, great, that means you have between 450 and 600 words maximum to use, there is a look of shock and horror on their face because they realize they don't have enough word space or time to pile in all the things that we're going to do. And we have to prioritize and triage what goes into the pitch. If you are delivering a 10-minute segment, then you are going to be delivering around about 1,500 words. 20 is about 3,000 words, and so on. So by now you're getting the gist. We speak naturally at around 140 to 150 words per minute. Now, people do speak slower and do speak faster. And before I get the argument come flying through, yes, there are definitely speakers who speak at their own pace really, really fast or really, really slow and still have success. They are the exceptions. I'm assuming that for most of us, we're learning the craft and we're not perfect at going over or under time. So this is to build your muscle. So what we want to do is we want to build scripts that are 140 to 150 words a minute and deliver them that way. What I want you to understand is that if you build a script, so say you're delivering for 10 minutes or 30 or 40 or 60, whatever it is, if you build your script and say it's 1,500 words for your 10-minute delivery and you go to 12 or 13 minutes, then it's not necessarily that you need to cut things out. You may need to actually get better at your pace, because if you're speaking too slow, you can lose your audience. They can get, one of the things that is really important about when we're putting our speeches and our signature speaking pieces together is what we're trying to make sure we do is we're trying to make sure that we remove all opportunities for disconnection. And speaking too slow is a major opportunity for disconnection from your audience. So if it's the right number of words approximately and you're going way over time, it's about training yourself to speak at the rate required to deliver that in around 10 minutes. The other thing is if you deliver your 1,500 script for 10 minutes and you find that it actually, in a run through, it only takes 6 or 7 minutes, it doesn't mean you can cram more information in. It means that you actually need to slow down your pace so that your audience can stay pace with you. Now, obviously, there are people who are inspirational and motivational who speak at either ends of those spectrums, but for the majority of us, we need to build the muscle at this pace. If you're an Australian, going to speak in the US, be warned. The US and our US clients will probably agree they love our accent, but they struggle to keep up with it. So if you're going to a US audience, you need to slow that right down to around 120 words a minute and be very mindful of your articulation. Like I have done in this episode, we tend to run our words together, and it makes it very difficult to understand what we're saying when it's also a different accent. So just be very, very aware of that. So you are going to script, because this is the only way. If you get this right, you will always be 1 to 2 minutes, 3 minutes at the max, either side of your delivery time. And that makes you someone that people want to engage.